Big Joe might be the heart of the Celtic nets, but could Celtic be keeping their eyes on somebody else to replace the former England international? Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football, and it would appear that Celtic are on the move. They're looking for a new goalkeeper, they're looking for a Joe Hart replacement, and that replacement could be Ugurcan Cakir, who plays in Turkey for Trabzonspor. Now, there is several Turkish websites claiming that Celtic are interested in him and have inquired about his services and a potential deal. Now, can't exactly read out the Turkish newspapers here and articles because we do not speak Turkish, unfortunately, but the Daily Record has covered it. And these reports are claiming that Celtic are already in talks about a potential move for Ugurcan Cakir to become Joe Hart's potential successor. So I think it's obvious that obviously Joe Hart, he's leaving, he's retiring. Brendan Rodgers will probably need to fill that position. I don't think Scott Bain or Benjamin Siegrist are good enough or trusted enough to even get a chance as the number one for next season. And I can't imagine how the Celtic team would look, and I can't imagine how the Celtic fans would feel if Celtic did go into next year trying to win the title and trying to, if they're in the Champions League, trying to perform in that with either a Bain or a Siegrist in nets. I can't imagine that would please the Celtic fan base too much.
It wouldn't. I think you've got to bear in mind, though, just because there's money on this guy, I don't know much about him, right? But just because there's $7.5 million on his head doesn't mean he's good. Barkas was $5 million. You've got to look at him. Just because you splash the cash does not automatically mean you're unearthing a gem here. Jack Butland was for free. You've got to look at these factors, and yeah, it looks appetising to the eye, appealing, but this guy could be a flop, and I think if Celtic are going to spend money, they will probably sound out the correct player. I think under Ange, for the most part, they did get players right, but the more you look at it, they did get quite a few bad ones as well, but under Rodgers, who have they signed well? Like the second time around? No one?
No one really. So yeah, this guy is valued at 7.5 million, or at least that is the amount that it's going to take for Celtic to snatch him away from Trabzonspor. Now, Daily Record are reporting that the Hoops are seeking permission for talks with his management team and a lawyer, and a Zoom call between the player and Brendan Rodgers. So looks pretty serious. Normally a Zoom call I don't think would be ideal, but I think with Celtic in this title fight, I mean, Rodgers isn't going to be jetting off to Turkey to sit down with a player for next season.
Nope, but the Zoom call can work. He's at the Dakota Hotel.
Yeah, so maybe they can get this wee Zoom call going on at the hotel here. But this guy, 7.5 million is the valuation. That is the price that it's going to take to get him. Let's have a look at Ugurcan Cakir and see what he's actually done. So obviously he is Turkish. He is 28 years old, and he stands at 6'3" inches. So I mean, that's pretty tall for a goalkeeper. Not overly tall, but I mean tall enough for a keeper. I believe Joe Hart's also 6'3", or is he 6'4"?
Here, around that ballpark.
Maybe 6'5".
It's the height you want.
Yeah, I don't think you don't want any really. I don't think you want any lower than. I think for a goalkeeper, man, if you're not at least like 6'1", 6'2", then you're probably in the wrong position. So yeah, he is 6'3". His current team is Trabzonspor, and it's the only senior team that he's played for throughout his career. He did have a loan spell back in 2016 at 1461 Trabzons for 8 games, but he's played 126 times for Trabzonspor since 2014. He's currently with, like I said, Trabzonspor. Turkey international career, he's done okay, to be honest. He has had 3 caps for the under-19 Turkey side. He's 2 caps and a goal for the under-20 Turkey side. He has 4 caps for the under-21 Turkey side, and since 2019 he has 27 caps for the national team, so senior side. So I mean, he's obviously playing at a decent level here. I mean, Trabzonspor, they're not one of the best teams in Turkey, but they're one of the better teams. You know, they're a team that you'd associate definitely with the top half of the table or somewhere near the top. So he must be at a decent level to represent Turkey 27 times. He must be pretty good. You know, I can't believe that he would be a dud, but I mean, we have seen players come into Celtic for less than 7.5 million and not work out, so there's no guarantee this guy would work out. Also at 28, The fact he's still with Trabzonspor and he's not attracted interest from bigger clubs or got a bigger move, does that maybe tell you that there's a ceiling on this guy, that there's a limit on this guy? Again, we haven't seen him play, so I'm not going to sit here and say he's no good. I'm not going to sit here and say he's great. All we can really do is look at his stats here and look at the amount of appearances he's made. Alright, goalkeeper, you don't really have goals, so it's hard to judge, but he's made 27 appearances for Turkey, and I think that's a positive sign, because as long as you're playing at a half-decent international team and you're the goalkeeper and there's only that one position up for grabs, if you're starting more often than not, then you must be good. And 27 appearances since 2019 is quite a lot.
It is quite a lot, and I think that is the telling thing. You can look at who he plays for, what yada yada yada, but national teams are national teams, and Turkey are a decent national team. They're probably around about where we are, maybe just a wee bit below us. So for him to have that many appearances is good. And 20, it's very young for a goalkeeper. It's very easy to look at 20 and be like, oh, the prime of his career. But for a goalkeeper, he could give Celtic a decade, easy peasy, if it works out.
I mean, if he's good, yeah. There's no reason this guy couldn't come in, have 10 years at the club, be 38 and still going good.
Yeah.
We've seen Craig Gordon, 41, still going good. We've seen Alan McGregor for Rangers. You know, he played to about 40 at a good level. So there is no doubt that at this age you've got a hell of a lot of football days in front of you. But it just remains to be seen whether or not Celtic are going to get him. But other than that, I mean, we don't really know much about this guy. The only thing we do know is that Celtic, I think, will be signing a goalkeeper 100%. I don't see how Celtic go into next season without a goalkeeper. For me, Bain and Siegrist, I think the Celtic fans would be absolutely livid if that was the two goalkeeping choices next season.
No, they would be. They absolutely would be, and they would. And you know what? It would be justified, because we can bury Joe Hart as much as we want. I don't think he's been that bad this season. I think the first half of the season he was. I think since the turn of the year he's actually produced some pretty good saves. I think Siegrist has not really been given a chance. Bain is a noticeable drop below Hart. But if they don't replace him, right, and just rely on those two, what are they actually doing with the war chest? Like, you know, like, is it being saved? It looks that way if they're not going to spend money on this guy.
Yeah, maybe they're going to burst it open in the summer, but right now they ain't doing much with it, so we'll see what happens. 7.5 million, this would be the highest amount of money that Celtic's ever paid for a goalkeeper, and it would be one of the highest fees Celtic have ever paid. Ever?
Yeah, one of them. Absolutely.
I mean, Celtic's highest fee, I believe, is the 9 million for Edouard.
That was more than that. It was 12 million.
12 million. Well, I mean, that's the highest fee, but I mean, you look at Celtic in recent years outside of Edouard. I mean, I think the most they spent was like 7 on Carter Vickers and 7 on Jota. So this guy could be the highest, one of the highest, like one of the top 3, I believe, transfers that Celtic have made. And I mean, can you argue that if you're going to spend £7.5 million as an Old Firm club, you would rather spend it on an outfield player because you can get a bit more quality?
No, you could argue that, but they need a goalkeeper, right? It is the position, I'd say, that needs strengthened the most at Celtic. Apart from maybe left back, and maybe, I mean, they probably need wingers as well, but yeah, it's not like Celtic are going to keep hold of their players. The transfer window is going to be dictated by whoever wins the league. Like, see, and even if they win the league, right, that would be 3 titles in a row. There's a lot of players that are probably thinking, do I really want to be at Celtic for another year? I think it works both ways in that regard. There's a lot of players that have been there since Ange came in 3 years at Celtic. There's a lot of players in that Celtic team that will feel, I want to take the next step. I want to move to the Premier League, a top 5 league.
Like O'Reilly?
Yep. Kyogo, Hatate, Carter Vickers. I know he's signed a big deal, but that's probably more to cover Celtic's back than anything.
Yeah, I think that deal's to get a bigger fee for Carter Vickers rather than to keep Carter Vickers at the club for that full length of the contract. But anyway, that is it, guys. We're going to leave it there. Like I said, Ugurcan, Cakir could be going to Celtic. Reports in Turkey are claiming that Celtic are interested. They're trying to arrange contact with the guy's management, Zoom calls, etc. So, yeah, it looks like Celtic are indeed at least trying to put in a serious inquiry about this guy. So, inquiry even. So we'll see. That's it. We'll catch you in the next one, though. He's not going to be starting for the Old Firm game tomorrow, so it doesn't really matter. We'll see you next time. Peace.